Hey everybody, it's Kevin Wadsworth here. Thought it was time to take a closer look at the crypto market. So we're going to start straight away looking at Algorand, just going through them all alphabetically through the ARC-based forecast. And you see Algorand, I've just introduced this large arc which takes into account the two smaller arcs and runs from the previous highs, using those as an upper resistance line, ignoring the huge sort of drop down here. But once price stabilized and established a rhythm or a pattern, you can see how it sort of settled and kind of started to acknowledge this area around here, which is the support line for the large arc. We then carved out this smaller arc, which hit its target, and then confirmed the existence perhaps of this upper resistance line. I say perhaps because there's only, well, I was going to say 2 points on it, but there's this one here as well. If I drew the line a little bit more so carefully to that point there. So you can see that although price spikes a little bit above the line, it does seem to be a resistance zone there. So if we use that line as a tilted arc top, the top of this sort of tilted arc here, you can see how the price in the secondary arc here came down and tested it and bounced up and tested it again just a few days ago, in fact. So that does help give us a tentative upper target, actually, which is why I'm doing this, really. It ties in with a lot of the other ARC-based forecasts, which is nice, and gives us a target late in November or into December there, up around about over $7 and perhaps around about $8, which is about 4 times the current price. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. It's just at the moment, it's just a possible roadmap, but if price continues to respect this large arc, then I think we might be onto something with that. We've also got the support area support zone that we're just bouncing on at the moment. So I would have thought in the next few days the chances are pretty high that we're begin to start another up leg. I'll just put in the resistance line there so that gives us an idea that we need to break out above around about $2, say. Once we get above a couple of dollars, then things should start to move. So band protocol. There's also an upper resistance line on this one for these two arcs, and I dare say if I fiddled around for long enough, I'd probably be able to find a large arc that contains both of these, perhaps. I haven't had a look at that yet, but the horizontal arc has a target around about $20, give or take a few cents either way. Now we're breaking out of a bullish pennant at the moment and just trying to work our way through some resistance. Looks as though we're putting a touch point on the arc here, and that gives us a target in mid-November around about $20, but later on in November or into early December, it would give us a target somewhere near $30. So that's more than 3 times the current price. So some good potential prospects for Band Protocol. Binance Coin. So Binance has formed a bullish handle on this previous arc, and in doing that, I think it's actually confirmed where the arc, the larger arc, should actually be. A touch point here and another one down here, the latest one here. So it's heading for a target up around $650 in a few weeks, but I don't expect it to stop there, and I'll have to do a little bit more work perhaps to try and identify a higher target. Yeah, I have to have a look at that, but there will be higher targets once we've achieved that, I think, looking at the other coins and what they're likely to do. So we'll take a closer look at that in time, but for now the upper target is sort of $650, $700, that kind of area in what's that, it's only about 2 or 3 weeks time, isn't it? Bitcoin we've already covered fairly extensively with the regular posts, and there's various different ways of looking at this, and I posted my ARC number 3 update yesterday, and this is another way of looking at it, breakout from a bullish pennant and another bullish flag here, and we've broken out of what could have been a bearish arc, so we're effectively confirming the bull trend, I think, and that we're going to continue to move up. So I'll do more work on Bitcoin and targets, but for now I think that post I put on yesterday covers it pretty well, and we'll just monitor that large arc that takes us beyond the previous all-time highs. Bitcoin Cash alongside that, I can probably bring this arc in a little bit, actually, rather than what I've been doing more recently, extending them outwards just to get the worst case scenario. But I think we've probably put in the touch point there. Bring that one in because it's shifted a little. So that suggests a pretty steep upwards move towards perhaps well, there's a couple of resistance lines or resistance zones above us. You can see the targets there around about 800 and 1,000-ish, and then on up to kind of double that, around a couple of thousand perhaps by mid to late November. So that's what I'm keeping an eye on with Bitcoin Cash. Coty, if that's how you pronounce it. Don't blame me if it's not. So we've got a horizontal arc and a tilted arc. So optimistic now that this tilted arc is going to continue to play out and take us up to the target area, around about $2.50 or so. A little bit of a thought on this one is that it's giving the target date as late October, but the others seem to be suggesting late November. So it does just make me wonder if this arc needs to extend out further, and whether we do get further sideways price consolidation around about the 50-cent area. We're at 53 at the moment, so we'll just have to see how that plays out. Can't be absolutely certain yet that we've got the position right on this one. I prefer having the arc terminating somewhere perhaps around about late November here somewhere, which would give us more sideways possibilities, or even downside perhaps. I mean, there's a resistance line there that's starting to form in that sort of area there. So I think what we really need to look out for with this one is a break above that resistance line. At the moment, if we moved above about, where are we, 56, 57 cents, and certainly towards the 60-cent area, that will constitute a breakout and could perhaps bring this arc back in again. But just a little bit of a caution on that one. But I don't mean caution in terms of, you know, crashing down or anything. I just mean that the arc might build out a little bit more sideways. But the upside target, if it did do that, would be, you know, it'd be all the better really, because the upside target suddenly moves higher, doesn't it? The further out you extend it, the higher the target becomes. So you could be getting somewhere up around $3 by late November. So we'll watch that one. Cardano, this is the one that's in our green report, of course, at the moment, as a representative of the crypto sector, and it's been fairly typical of the crypto sector lately. It's completed a very large arc, as you can see there. Got into the top right hand corner and it's consolidated. We put it out on the green report at $2.10. It's currently at $2.29 after a period of consolidation, and the target is up here somewhere around about $6 plus, I suppose. So we will continue to monitor that one. Chainlink, I'll just get the chart in its correct position for you. There you go, there's Chainlink. All taking place within a rising wedge pattern, which when it breaks to the downside is very bearish. But at the moment we're building out this arc, which targets in late November $75 plus. So that'll be a tripling of the current price. So I'll just zoom in on that arc for you so you can see it in a bit more detail. There we go, something like that. So you can see the previous arc target hit. We stayed quite high for a while before descending down in this bullish wedge, hit the bottom of the price channel, and the arc as well took off. Another bullish wedge, hit the arc and broke out. So you can see these sort of patterns repeating, and we should continue to move upwards now towards the $100 area. It's got $75 plus on there, but as time goes by and the arc's just pulled out to the right a little bit, the target price goes up. So that'll be late November, early December. Civic is still within its very large arc, which has been building out. Although I think with this one, we've only got the, oh no, we've got the entire arc on there. I was thinking we only had a partial arc on this one, but we've got the full arc. So it's approaching its arc sort of destiny, if you like, its target, which is anywhere up towards the sort of getting on towards $2, I suppose. We're currently at 53 cents, so that would be sort of 300% profit or gain from here. And it does look as though we've reconfirmed the edge of this arc, so it's all progressing as per the forecast. Nothing to worry about with that one at the moment. Cosmos. Let's take a look at Cosmos. Just waiting for the chart to load up. It seems to have temporarily frozen. Talk amongst yourselves. There we go. Right, great, got there. So Cosmos, large arc, small arc sort of thing going on within a rising wedge pattern, which eventually will be bearish when it breaks to the downside, or if it breaks to the downside. But for the time being, we're right up at the top end of that chart pattern, and given what's going on in the rest of the crypto markets, I think it's likely that this breaks to the upside and puts in some sort of impressive ending to its bull market by breaking that pattern to the upside. When these sorts of patterns long-term, and it's a long-term bearish pattern, but when they temporarily break to the upside, the moves can be quite impressive on these. So don't be surprised to see this move quite spectacularly. But we've got to see that breakout first. That's just supposition at the moment. We can't take any of that for granted at all. So we need to see this. Oh, I've got this label on. I think I've left these labels on from quite a long time ago when I originally did the forecast, because it says $35 to $40 next, and of course we've already had, we're at 36 already, so I'll get rid of that. That must have been there from a while ago. So yeah, I mean, we've achieved that prediction, and we're looking for a breakout now above the 38 to sort of $40 area, and once we do that, I think it's likely that we slice through this red resistance zone and take off to the upside, at which point you would need to use a short moving average. A short period moving average is your exit signal, something like the 10-week moving average, for example. But if and when these moves start to unfold, we'll take a look at exit strategies. Okay, so taking a look at Dash. I'll just zoom right out so you can see the big picture. So large arc, tilted arc, and one with a horizontal top, and the one with the horizontal top as a target up above $1,000. It's sort of $1,100, and see the previous highs at 1625, I think that says up here. So I think I've probably been a bit pessimistic with the target here, and you can extend the target zone up to that previous all-time high, of course, of 1600. So what are we at the moment? A couple of hundred. So huge potential gains on this one. That's eight times the current price, isn't it? The only concern I have with this one, I've mentioned before, is that the target time extends out into next year, and I doubt that the bull market is going to run beyond the end of this year. I mean, I could be wrong, and we'll just take it a day at a time and a week at a time, and exit when the moving averages are broken. So this could be telling us something significant about the crypto bull market, and it's how long it might continue. But my expectation is the crypto bull market is going to end before that. So do we reach that upper target, or do we just get up to around about 350, this tilted arc here, sometime in November, December? That's something to think about. So don't be too greedy with this one. We could just hit the 350, 360 mark and then break down. But this horizontal arc is worth just bearing in mind. So I've put it in place just as a possibility if things get really, really good. Okay, Dogecoin. What's Dogecoin doing? So Dogecoin, the arc has obviously had to be adjusted as time's gone by as the price action has tried to confirm and find the right-hand edge of the arc. We had the left-hand edge in place, so there's never really any concerns about the fact that there was an arc there. It's just waiting for the confirmation on the right-hand side. You kind of sometimes think you've got it, and then price action proves you wrong, and you have to just adjust the arc. And some call it cheating, but it's really just reflecting reality. You can't have a forecast and just ignore reality. You have to take current price action into account. You can't just bury your head in the sand. So it looks as though the arc, I can probably get rid of this outer arc now, I think, and looks as though the arc is confirmed there, because we've had the breakout from this large bullish descending wedge, which tends to be the type of thing that happens when you have an arc edge confirmation. So fairly happy with this one. Also fairly happy with the timing, as being in sort of late November, where we get up to these sort of values around about 70 cents, which is about nearly 3 times where we are currently. Could it go higher than that? It could do. There's an upper resistance line there, which I'm not really going to sort of talk too much about at the moment, because that gives what seems like stupid price targets. So I think my initial expectation is for price to move up to this area around about 74 cents. Ethereum is behaving nicely at the moment. It's completed its horizontal arc here, and there's a tilted arc taking this upper trend line into account. So first target is the old highs, and then beyond that we'll have to just adjust and mess around with these chart patterns as price action confirms or doesn't confirm this tilted arc that I've got. But for the time being, the this tilted arc target is up around about, what should we say, $10,000 to $15,000 or more, you know, approaching $20,000 if this is to be believed. So that would be in early November, I think that is. Which seems a bit early November. I mean, that's only 4 weeks away. So either something spectacular is going to start happening, or the arc will need to be extended, or whatever. You know, we'll just need to monitor the price action. But for now, the first targets are the previous highs at 4384, and that would be probably in the next week or so, actually. Ethereum Classic also confirmed, I think, an arc touch here. I probably just need to bring the arc in a little bit there, just to makes a change to be bringing the arcs to the left rather than extending them to the right, just to get that arc confirmation in place. So Ethereum Classic up around 140 would be the target, I suppose, in early December. We're at 54 at the moment, so that's almost a tripling of the current price, which sounds reasonable, maybe even conservative. Phantom up 16% at the moment as I'm doing this, and we've broken out above the tilted arc target. So this shows you're going to see with this one the type of thing that can happen when you break above tilted arc targets, and we'll have to use, I think, a short moving average. So now's as good a time as any to show you what I mean by that. So you're going to Trading View, choose your moving average, and have a look at what this is, the daily chart. So find a moving average that is going to serve you well in your exit strategy. I'll make it a bit, in fact I won't use green, I'll use black so you can see that better. And we'll just go into the inputs on here and just change the daily moving average to one that supports the price in a strong uptrend. So look at this uptrend here as I adjust the number of days that the moving average covers, and I'd suggest perhaps, what's that, 18 days on there. So 18 days catches that spike low there, and it catches that one there. If the longer you make it, the more you kind of give up at the peak. So you could make it perhaps a 10-day moving average, see how that looks. So the 10-day works, except for this arc confirmation here, and it's taken off from the 10-day moving average just here. So I think perhaps the 10-day moving average might work quite well. It's currently at $1.55 and rising quickly. Current price is at $2.32. So perhaps monitor the 10-day moving average on Phantom, and because we could be getting into a bit of a parabolic move up here. Any daily close below the 10-day moving average would be perhaps a good indication to exit. You see, it was a good indication here back in February, and it worked well here in May, and it worked well here as well. You know, you were able to benefit from all of this move up. You would have exited here, but then got back in, and then you would have exited here. So you'd have preserved a lot of your gains, most of your gains. So that would be one of my possible strategies on that one. Take a look at Filecoin when the computer decides to say yes. Come on, Filecoin. This is one of the ones, by the way, the color indications on the left-hand side there are, well, Cardano's green because it's in the green report, but the other ones that are labeled red are just happen to be the ones that I'm holding at the moment, mainly because of the ratio charts that I've looked at with those compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum, suggesting that the ratios should rise significantly in their favor. So Filecoin has been all the way down to, where was it, cracky, about $50 or so, and we're up to roughly $72 now. We should see some nice moves to above 75 and then above 95. The large arc target is in late November, and it's $180 or more. The previous high, in fact, was 260. So it'd be nice if we could get back up to the previous highs at 260 by late November. That's the plan. That's the plan. So we'll see. The graph as well has frustrated many, but it's not doing anything it shouldn't do, really. It's behaving nicely within an acceptable arc pattern. We've had touch points on the left hand side down near the base, and this looks like a touch point here now. Breakout from a bullish descending wedge, pushing up through horizontal resistance levels. The target is the previous high, I suppose, at $2.89, currently at 73 cents. So good gains, and again, the timing for that is into December. Harmony, oh, didn't mean to do that. I meant to do that. So how's Harmony progressing? Well, it's getting quite close, I suppose, towards its target area, which is up here around about 35, 36 cents, currently at 19. And it could well do what Phantom's doing at the moment and bust out and have an upside run. And again, you would use a short period moving average like this 10-day moving average that I've got on here at the moment. You can see it works well with Harmony as well. Hedera hash graph. So Harmony's doing well today, actually up 13%. Take a look at Hedera hash graph and see how that's progressing. I'll tell you what, I'm going to close some of these windows just in case they're using. I thought they should be using very much computing power, but I'll shut them down. See if it makes any difference whatsoever. Let's have a look. Have I got my camera on? I can't remember if I put the camera on this recording. I think I did. So tell you what, I'm going to stop the camera. That will save some of the bandwidth, I think. There we go. You don't need to see my face, do you, whilst I'm doing this? So Hedera hash graph, nice arc, kind of reached its target, hasn't it? Just about. It reached it early, in fact. Heading back into that target zone now and still within the arc. Lots of nice touch points on this one. I think it's going to break to the upside, break through this, and we've got an upper resistance line that goes back. Where does that go back to? I'll put it there for a reason. Just waiting for the price action to load. What is going on with my bandwidth today? I'm supposed to have super fast broadband. I don't know. So the price target, assuming I've got that line in the right place for the right reasons, which I'm sure I have, but I have no idea why that's not loading up. That price line should come over here somewhere, I guess. So I've got an upside target on this one, somewhere around about $1, I suppose, which is sort of, what's that, about 4 times the current price, 5 times the current price, 5 times. Target time for that would be tying in with all the others as well. So let's just get above this horizontal resistance area first, shall we? And that's going to be getting through the area around about 50 cents. And we'll take another look at that when my bandwidth is playing ball. So we're going to take a look at IOTA next. IOTA is getting towards the corner of its large arc target. We should see that getting back to the previous highs, which are $5.80. So some good gains in store for this one, I think. Again, this one extends out into sort of April time next year. So I've got reservations on this. I suspect we're going to sort of reach this target box sooner in, shall we say, November. Just whether we get up to those previous highs or whether we get into the lower portion of the target box around about $3 or $4. We'll have to just wait and see, but for the time being, that it is what it is. Let's get up into this area here and just see how quickly price, or how far price takes us. And again, we'll use the 10-day moving average or the suitable moving average. Is 10 days going to work on this one? I'm just looking back at premium, might do. So yeah, we'll look at exiting nearer the time. Litecoin Well, that's got to get back up to the $400 plus area within this time period here. So that's sort of November, I suppose. So that's a doubling of the current price. Seems a little bit meager, doesn't it, really? So let's just see what happens with Litecoin. But there are plenty of reasons to think that it's going to bust out of the top of this arc. But as far as the technical analysis goes, I suppose looking at it, if we're on this middle arc here, that takes us in up to sort of $400 by early December. So compared to some of the others, actually the TA isn't really suggesting enormous gains for Litecoin, surprisingly perhaps. So I'll be thinking about whether to stay in Litecoin or whether to shift it to one of the others. Maker, well, this is suggesting price kind of doubling by late November. This large arc having been confirmed by a breakout of this bullish descending wedge, which you can see with the dotted lines here. And we're above the 10-day moving average again, which is good, and we can probably use that as a signal as to when to exit. Looks like the 10-day moving average is probably going to follow the arc edge quite nicely. So keep an eye on that one. Matic, same sort of thing, really, following the arc edge and the 10-day moving average, heading towards its $2.72 target, which is roughly double where we are, almost exactly double where we are at the moment, I think. So that would be pleasant. Oh, the target time for that would be late October. Monero heading towards its arc target as well in late November. That would be around $500 or more, yeah, 500 to 520 sort of thing. So roughly a double from where we are now. Neo, its arc target extends out into next year. So it's another one of those that little bit of a head scratcher, really, why the arc goes out quite that far. It'll probably hit its arc target. I'm pretty sure it will hit its arc target area in November, maybe even late this month, but into November, somewhere around the $100 area. So looking at a double on this one with a reverse symmetry move, which should, as I say, bring us back up here in perhaps early November. Just how high we get, we'll have to wait and see. But again, I would use the 10-day moving average perhaps as an exit signal. XT, Orchid, isn't it? I think. Right, so a couple of arcs, breakout from the bullish descending wedge. So I suspect this outer arc, I've put it there just as a sort of a worst case scenario. I think I'll leave it for now, but it looks as though the inner arc is probably the one that's going to play out and take us up to the target area by mid-November. So that would be pretty much a tripling of the current price. I mean, to be honest, if I can double or triple my funds that are in cryptos at the moment by November, I'll be more than happy. I'm not sort of greedy with these things. I tend to play things safe rather than take too many chances. This is one that's looking quite good as well, Polkadot. We could see price going up to $70, perhaps even a little bit more. The arc on this one is suggesting that target by late October, which seems early compared to some of the others. So the arc may extend a little bit further to the right. Keep a little eye on that one, but we have got an arc in place. You can see the touch points on the left and down at the base here. Excuse me. So I don't have any concerns about the fact that we have an arc. It's just the exact placement on the right hand side. But yeah, we should I've got no reason to think that we don't hit those upside targets there on that resistance line. The previous high, I think, was, in fact, where was it? It was around about, it was $49.75. And so we'll see how price reacts when we hit that $49.75 price point. But a quick move up beyond that seems likely. Seer coin. Take a look at Seer coin. Why is my computer working so slowly today? Really frustrating. I don't think I've got any other devices draining power. For the thing to spring into life. Come on, we're almost there. A few more to go. Seer coin's up 8% today. Here we go. Worth waiting. So The outer arc is probably redundant, but I've got it there as a worst case scenario. We've broken out of a bullish descending wedge, and the inner arc takes us up by early November, mid-November, back up to or towards the 0.06 high, which is around about 3 times the current price. So that would perhaps be a reasonable one to be invested in at the moment. Solana, I've already hit the target on this one. You'll probably remember my posts and podcasts on this one before, and I suggested exiting when we hit this upper line here, which was around about $200. We've now just broken out and we're down at $160. So this would be another chance to re-enter, I think. We're bouncing off the 10-day moving average by the looks of it. And we're going to have another shot, I think, at this upper resistance line, which, of course, because it's rising, is going to be higher than the last time we had a shot at the upper resistance line. So if we look at late October into November, that gives us a target above $300. And of course, if it takes longer, and some of the cryptos are looking like they're going to hit their targets in November, then by November up above $400. So what I would say on this one is, as long as the support level holds, which is the top of the arc here, that line there, where's that? That's call it $150. So as long as $150 holds and the 10-day moving average from this point onwards, we should be moving up quite steadily towards this upper resistance line. Just you know, if you're taking an entry at this point, I would step back if it falls below 150, because that would probably start to target either the edge of the arc or the lower support line. I don't see any reason why it would do that with what's going on in the rest of the crypto market at the moment. There's also an arc in there which may well guide us up. Let's have a look somewhere. Pull the base up. So that could be something to take into consideration as well. Could sort of catapult us up towards this area. Okay, that's enough on Solana. Tron, outer arc, inner arc. The outer arc's a worst case scenario, gives us our arc target in December. The inner arc, if that is the one that we continue to have confirmed, and we've broken out of a bullish descending wedge, and price seems to be hugging the edge of the 10-day moving average and the arc here, that would take us up to the target in late October. And the arc target is around about 18 cents, which is a double. And if this is one of the ones that has a parabolic blow off crazy time, then the upper targets are way higher, at about 50 cents or so, which is 5 times the current price. Telcoin arc target, it lies ahead of us towards 64 cents. Well, it's not 64 cents. What am I talking about? 6 cents, 6.5 cents. That's the previous high. So I expect it to go through its target zone and reach the previous high. And pretty likely, I think, that we get up to the upper resistance line, or what I'm calling the greedy target here, which would be sort of early to mid-November, will be around about 10 cents. So that's 5 times the current price. Use the 10-day moving average as a warning sign to get out on this one. It looks like it's going to closely follow the arc edge as we go up. So keep watching that one. Theta Fuel moving up slowly at the moment. We've got a bullish descending wedge on this one. No arc, really, no obvious arc in there that I can see. I don't think. Well, okay. Don't think I've drawn this one on here before, but I'll do it now. There's one there. I saw that in my head. It's terrible, isn't it? We start seeing arcs everywhere. So yeah, okay. So this arc is guiding us up. I suppose we should, looking at what's happening with the rest of the crypto market, it makes sense if we just break out of this arc and head straight back up to the previous high of 75 cents, which would be more than double the current price. And if we follow a reverse symmetry move, I'll just try and give you some idea of the time period. That's 67 degrees. So if we go up at the same angle, that's 67 there to the previous high. on, Kevin, get it right. There we go. So that would take us up to the previous high early November with a reverse symmetry move. That's probably the best I can do on that one at the moment for you. So that'll be a double, and we'll just keep an eye on that and see how we get on. Theta token, tilted arc, horizontal arc, same sort of thing really. I think we're likely to break out of this tilted arc fairly quickly. I suppose we could just meander down to the bottom corner here, but that would seem a bit strange with everything else that's going on in the crypto market and everything else that's kind of forecast as we go through October, November. So wouldn't surprise me if we just burst out to the upside. This arc edge here, if that was to come into play, it's perhaps a little bit counterintuitive compared to what the others are looking at doing, but it is what it is. There's an upper resistance line way higher up here, so what's a bit of a quandary, this one. I mean, if the arcs sort of are in play and drag price towards the edge of the arc as we go into sort of later into October and November, then this is kind of going nowhere. Alternatively, though, it just leaves the arc behind and takes off. We're not really going to know that for a while yet. I mean, it's performing much as the other cryptos are. It's broken out of a bullish descending wedge, and is wanting to move higher. But the arc, it seems to be holding it back on this one, really. So yeah, I don't know what to say on that other than watch this space. UMA has an arc that works in its favor and guides it up as we get towards the end of this year into this sort of zone, $19.50 to $34, which is 2 to 3 times the current price, and the previous high is at around about $45, which is what's that, 4 times the current price. So this one has good TA that is wanting to take it. Why did I do that? I didn't mean to pick that up. I was wanting to pick up that label and move it. It has good TA, which is wanting to work in our favor and take the price up. VE chain, VET. What's happening with VET? So the arc is confirmed, I think, on this one. Price has come down, tested the arc here, then it's kind of skipped across the middle of the arc, come down in a bullish descending wedge. I think it's put in another confirming touch point here. We're breaking out, or have broken out above a horizontal resistance line, which we're just using support at the moment. I think it's going to be used as a catapult to take us from 11 cents up to over 20 cents. That's more than double, and probably up to the previous high of 28 cents, which is almost triple the current price. Verge, well, as you can see, I've sort of highlighted a pattern where price rose, came down into an arc, descended in a bullish descending wedge, and then broke out. We should have a reverse symmetry move on this one. So this angle of descent down here, which was 76 degrees, put it there at 76. So we've got a little bit of catch up to do on this one, but that gives us target towards the end of the month of around about 9 cents. We're at 2.5 at the moment, so that's sort of more than triple the current price. Just depends a little bit when this decides to add it slightly in the wrong place. It should be there, shouldn't it, I think? So when would that be? End of October. End of October at around about 9 cents. And then beyond that, what's going to happen beyond that? I mean, the top of the arc is considerably higher. That's the previous all-time high up there, which is at 31 cents. Just 10 times, more than 10 times the current price. Do we get up that high? I don't know. How's the time doing for us if the arc targets? Well, it's into next year, isn't it? So it's another one of those tricky ones where either go up almost vertically and achieve the targets along with the rest of the crypto bull market, or the crypto bull market is actually going to extend into next year, and all these targets I'm talking about are just the start, which it's not my primary expectation, but it is a possibility. So we'll continue to track that and just keep it, get my words out, continue to keep an eye on it. Stellar Lumens, large arc, large arc here, which you can see played out very nicely with 3 main touch points there. I'll just put in the latest one. And the arc target, it's around about 79 cents, is that? No, it's not. It's 93 cents is the arc target. You notice the trading view, you have to have that point on the screen for this high value on the right hand side to indicate the previous high. As soon as you expand the chart, move it off the screen, the high that it's indicating is the highest point on the chart that's on the screen rather than the actual all-time high. Be a little bit careful of that. Anyway, so this smaller arc, as you can see, is wanting to guide us up into the target box area above 60 cents in the next sort of 3 weeks. We could well get up towards that, the top of that, sort of around about the 90 cent area. And if things go crazy, then there's a much higher resistance line, way higher, which isn't really worth focusing on too much at the moment because that's a bit greedy. I think we just need to get to these levels here, use the 10-day moving average and the arc as a guide. Ripple doing great. It looks as though it's heading towards my zone 3 target box, which has been there for, oh, I don't know, since last year, whenever it was when I first started putting this Ripple arc in front of people on Twitter. So we should achieve the previous high of $3.30, or at least get into the zone 3 area. I mean, my target and what I'll be happy with is getting to the zone 3 area, which is above about $1.40. So I think we should actually see the price double or even triple from where we are at the moment. And the timing on that is, well, it does go into early next year, but yeah, it's going to be interesting, isn't it, to see what these arcs do, the ones that extend out into next year, whether they break to the downside before that. Be fascinated to see what happens with them. Tezos. Okay, let's zoom in on the Tezos arc, and there's a couple of different possible positions you could put this in, but as time moves on, it doesn't really make much difference because the arcs come into alignment towards the right hand side anyway. So Tezos could come down just a little bit further to around about $7. Is that $7.50? $7.45. The 10-day moving average is at $7.38. So I'd probably say that's about as far as it's likely to go. And it's already just touched its arc target. We need to get above around about $10 to enact some higher targets up here at around $20. So I'll keep you updated on that one. It's quite an interesting chart, that one. Zinfin, or how do you pronounce that? I don't know. There's not a lot of price history on this one, so the TA technical analysis is going to be less. Confidence levels are lower on this one. The more price history you have, the higher your confidence levels can be. But we do have a bullish descending wedge or descending pennant that has broken out to the upside, and we've started using this resistance line as a support line now because we broke above it. It's now acting as support. So I'm expecting to see some upside price action, take it above the 10-day moving average at above 13 cents and on up towards previous highs around about 20 cents. Beyond that, the target really comes from this flagpole. So it started at 7 cents and it went up to 20, didn't it? So that's a 13-cent move, 13 cents onto the breakout level at call it 11 cents. That's 24, isn't it? So the target is 24 up here somewhere from this flagpole, 24. So that's a double. But that doesn't mean it's going to stop there. As I say, the price history on this one is too short to be able to know just what other resistance lines there might have been if the price action had been there for longer. So I would use maybe the 10-day moving average once we get above it. Use that as an exit signal on this one. District Ox finally, and there we go on District Ox. We've got a sort of outer arc, which is worst case scenario, taking these wicks into account. If price action were to continue downwards or sideways for much longer, we haven't actually broken out on this one yet. So it's, but bit of an unusual one, I think, compared to the others, which have all, well, perhaps you could say it's broken out. Yeah, I suppose if you put it there, it has the line in slightly strange place, didn't I? Because I was drawing it like that, which is perfectly acceptable because you've got this spike here, but we've broken out of a descending pennant. We've moved up, and we're now looks like we're confirming the edge of the arc. Okay, so anyway, that's all very interesting, but the target is in November, sort of mid-November on this inner arc anyway. On the outer arc, it's into December. But on the inner arc, you can see the target price is the same on both of them. It's taken using these candle bodies, so it's a non-greedy target of around about 37 cents, which is more than which is around not far off double where we are at the moment. But you see these spikes up here to 51 cents, and it would make perfect sense if we went to 51 cents, if you get what I mean. I think I've been talking too long. Right, that's enough on I think that's enough on the cryptos for now. Hopefully that's given you a full picture of what's happening with all of these arcs and how they're progressing. Don't worry about the fact that I saw somebody put a comment on yesterday or the day before that the altcoins seem to be behaving slowly compared to Bitcoin. Well, that kind of happens when Bitcoin is dominant. Bitcoin needs to have dominant periods where it needs to move up to confirm that the crypto bull market is healthy. So Bitcoin moves up, it becomes more dominant, funds flow into Bitcoin, and then it'll pause, it'll consolidate, it'll even pull back. And you can see what happens with the altcoins. Some of them, Harmony up 18%, Phantom 10%, Verge 8, Coin 8. You can see all of these altcoins, and I haven't, by the way, I think there's over 5,000 altcoins. So my list is fairly small, really, but I couldn't possibly hope to track all of them. It would take too long in these podcasts, but you get the idea, you know, that a lot of the altcoins now, several of the altcoins are actually doing better than Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is holding its own there, over 3% gain today, and that's healthy for the overall market. So Bitcoin will have periods where it's dominant, and then, you know, the funds will flow into the rest of the crypto market because of that confidence level that comes from having Bitcoin doing well. So don't worry, they're all doing fine. Just follow the arcs. Don't worry too much about Bitcoin seemingly doing very well in comparison to the others. I mean, you can shift your funds around backwards and forwards from one to the other as much as you want, but that's not really the way I do it. So anyway, there you go. Hopefully that's given you a good picture, as I said, and that's enough from me for now, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.